Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the Light the W podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mahal. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, all of that fantastic jazz. If it's your first time joining, make sure you follow on social media at Light the W pod on all of that. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, we're active on all of those. So, without further ado, let's sound the horn and get into this episode.
The pitch from Acevedo.
Swung on the line down the left field line for a base hit. Fly ball, gap, right center field. And
Double him up at second.
Luke is going back to the 1-8 track. Get out the right, Brennan Buster Grandma. It is grand salami time.
Polanco sent it into right and will send Seattle to the American League Championship Series for the first time in 24 years.
Are the Mariners back? 3 straight wins for the boys against Houston. And that Houston pitching staff that we talked about prior to the series, that has been very bad. In fact, has been one of the worst in baseball. One that has been injured. One that, even when healthy, the guys haven't been very good, has showed up as that through the first 3 games of the series. Tatsuya Imai. His arm is tired after 3 starts. The mound in Seattle, too hard. That's a new one. Lance McCullers Jr. makes an okay start. Bullpen gas, though. You got to get through 6 innings, my G. He couldn't even get through 5. So, the Mariners get a lot of the bullpen so far against Houston. Cody Bolton comes out after 1+ innings, doesn't get an out in the second, loads the bases, gets injured, back tightness, more of the bullpen for Houston. The Mariners win 6-1. Today is Sunday, April 12th, 9:10 p.m. recording right now. And this is episode 141 of the show. So welcome back. The Mariners might be back. They're playing good ball for the most part. And it's been a lot more fun, first and foremost. Now, I want to start with today's ball game, and I want to start with Logan Gilbert. Because Logan Gilbert's been a guy I've been frustrated with through much of last year and through this year for his inefficiency. This is a guy that since opening day last year hadn't thrown 7 innings in a start. He'd really struggled in the 6th through his first 2 starts so far this season, had struggled in the 6th to get through it last year repeatedly. He's a guy that had struggled to be able to get strikeouts, be able to get outs. But today was really, really good from him. And look, he was facing a Houston lineup that was missing both Jeremy Pena and Carlos Correa. Correa getting an extra day off because he's been dealing with an illness. Pena dealing with an injury to his knee. He's getting an MRI, I believe, on that today. So more injury issues for the Astros. But he's also facing a red-hot Cam Smith. He's facing Yordan Alvarez, who I am more scared of than anyone in baseball. Still facing Altuve that actually has been really good so far this season. So it's not a bad lineup. It's been one of the best lineups in baseball so far. And he was really, really good. Now, the biggest change that he made today in terms of Arsenal stuff was that he started using that curveball a lot more. And this was something that I looked at his outing after the first 3 innings, and I saw that he had used the curveball 18% of the time. He'd used 8 of them at that point. And I was like, that's an interesting progression. The curveball when he was coming up, you remember after he was drafted 2019, that was the pitch that was like, ooh, that's a really good breaking ball. Since then, it hasn't been utilized all that much, but he used it 19% of the time today. It generated a 67% whiff rate. Nice. 50% called strike plus whiff rate. He got 6 swings on it, 4 called strikes, got 4 whiffs out of the 6 swings. Velocity was average to what it's been so far this year, just above 80 miles an hour. Had a ton of vertical drop. And it was one that, in terms of horizontal break, was moving as well. And that's a good sign. This is a pitch that is working alongside that slider as a breaking ball for him. And he used it 24% of the time against right-handed hitters, more than that slider. He allowed that slider to be a pitch he used more against lefties, almost as if it's a changeup because of the way that it's very vertical in the way it moves. He used the splitter again, 12% of the time total, 13% of that against right-handed hitters. Those three pitches alongside the fastball are what he used most of the time today. That fastball, 8 called strikes, 16 swings against it, 4 whiffs. It was a 40% called strike plus whiff rate on that for him today. The slider, 47% on the called strike plus whiff, getting 63% whiff rate on that today. Good signs, good progression. He needs more pitches, especially secondary pitches, to be able to get swings and misses, to be able to get weak contact. And to see the curveball be able to do that today was a really, really positive sign. And it's something that's a feasible change. That's something that you can literally look at online on Baseball Savant, as I am right now, and be like, oh, that's a change. How does he build on that now? How does he then integrate the new cutter that has been good at points through this year, just hasn't been consistent enough? And how does he build consistency on that cutter to be able to use that a little bit more? He really mixed a lot of his pitches through that first time through the order. He used the four-seam fastball 30% of the time, the slider 20% of the time, 18% curveball, 15% splitter, 12% cutter. Changeup was just sparingly used. But then the second time, he adjusts 25% curveball. And that pitch really he felt confident in. Cal was liking it, and because of the results it was getting, that's why it was positive. He was able to create a differential in velocity between that fastball that was averaging 96 today and the curveball that's at 80. And when you have a curveball at 80 miles an hour, it's going to make the fastball play up a little bit. It's going to make it harder to see those other breaking balls. It allows the slider to be sort of a middler pitch. It allows that cutter to be used a little bit more as a middle pitch. Allows the splitter to sort of play alongside the curveball. It just allows your arsenal to be opened up a little bit more. And that's what it did for him today. So a really, really good sign for me and what Logan Gilbert was able to do today. That was the type of start I've been wanting to see from him for a long time, a very long time. And that curveball has a lot of vertical movement on it. It's more of what you would expect a slider to look like, where it's moving a lot horizontally. Of course, has the vertical drop, but as does the slider, as does the splitter. And that's positive. That's a good sign. Again, that curveball, when he was coming up, that was a really big pitch for him. People really liked that as a secondary. Hasn't been used a whole lot the past couple years. He used it 10.5% in 2024, 7.5% last year, and then so far this year, just about 12%. But again, he used it 19% of the time today. So I wonder, how does that trend continue? Because that's been a really, really, really good pitch for him so far this year. And if he can continue to have the feel of that, if he can continue to use that, going to be positive signs, and that's just going to make him a better version of himself. And that's the Logan Gilbert we expect to see. We expect him to see a lot of offerings, make it really hard for hitters to time him up, for them to hit him hard, for them to not only work counts, but work walks. We expect Logan Gilbert to be a guy that if he gets ahead 0-2, you're screwed. Whether that's in one pitch, two pitch, you're going to be gone back to the dugout pretty freaking quickly. And that's what I want to see from him. I don't want to see him sit in these lasting counts where it's like, oh, now we're 8-10 pitches in, and all of a sudden that's an inning off of your day. That's what happened to Luis Castillo on Friday night. Is that he threw a lot of pitches. And it caused him to have to exit the ball game early. And I was like, oh boy, this is a lot of innings for this bullpen to cover. Look, they just had an off day, but this is a 4-game series. I don't know if I want to have to see the Mariners deal with that. Sorry, that was actually Saturday night that Castillo started. let's go take a look-see. That Saturday start for Castillo. I haven't looked a whole lot at it on Baseball Savant, but I want to definitely take a look at it. Again, Luis Castillo, not the greatest start. 3 1/3 innings for him. 7 runs, all of which earned. 10 hits against him. 1 walk, just 3 strikeouts. He did give up a home run, 8 hard hit balls against him. And that was the concern. That was the frustration. He exited the ball game. The Mariners were down 7-2. And at that point, I actually had turned this ball game off. This was the first time the entire year I had turned off a game. But I was like, oh boy, I don't think this is going to last well. You're not going to want to use your high leverage relievers unless you're able to work back into this game. Doesn't really feel like this offense is going to be one to work back into this game, even against this pitching staff. McCullers at that point had dealt through 3 innings, 4 innings. And I was like, Legumina, do I really want to watch him? No. So I turned the ball game off for the top of the 5th. And then I'm like, I don't know. I'm getting a feeling here. So I turned the game back on for the bottom half of the 5th. And the Mariners' bats broke out. Capped off by a Julio Rodriguez 2-run homer to center field. One of 3 hard hit balls last night for the kid Julio. It was a bomb. He ties the game up, his first homer of the year. And it's like, okay, we're back. Here we go. 426 feet from Julio Rodriguez, 108 miles an hour off the bat. It was a bomb. And he's looked better the past couple days. Cal Raleigh has looked slightly better the past couple days. Even Josh Naylor looking a little bit better the past couple days and in this series. Each of those guys had at least 1 hard hit ball on Saturday night. Mariners offense scoring runs. 8 runs on Saturday. 6 runs today. 9 runs on Friday, where Emerson Hancock had another good start. 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, all of which earned, but this is against a good lineup. And if he gives me 5-6 innings and 3 runs every start, I'm going to be plenty happy with what he's bringing me. 5 strikeouts, gave up just 4 hits, gave up 2 walks. So look at the breakdown on him. And this was a start where he didn't really have the sweeper, which has been a really crucial pitch for him. Just 36% whiffs on that sweeper. He didn't have the best command on it. We saw it back up on him a few times. We saw him have that release point be a little bit too late a couple of times where it just flies to the backstop. And he just misses with it a couple times. But when he's had it, it's been good. And that 4-seam fastball, again, that shape is playing for him. That 4-seam fastball is working for Emerson Hancock to his advantage. And if he has a good fastball shape and he has a secondary pitch or 2, he's going to be really difficult to hit. He threw just 1 changeup on Friday night, but he mixed in a sinker and a cutter as well as that fastball, making that fastball play up. And he's not necessarily getting whiffs with that sinker or that whiff, but they're not getting hit hard. The sinker had a couple hard hits against it, but just 3 batted ball events. The cutter had 2, neither of which were hard hits. There was not a single hit against those. He was able to get first pitch strikes with the cutter, as well as the 4-seam fastball. Fastball averaged 96 and only dipped down to 95 in his 5th inning of work. He was able to maintain that velocity a little bit better. The fastball was getting chase all around the zone, but especially up in the zone. And look, a good Emerson Hancock is really exciting. Really exciting. I want to see more of these Hancock starts. I want to be able to go look back at some of these starts because those are positives. He's able to use that four-seam fastball up in the zone and then use the cutter, the sinker down in the zone, be able to get ground balls, pop-ups, stuff like that. And those can play alongside that sweeper as well, which again, did he have the best command of that sweeper? No, he didn't. But he was still able to get outs, only gave up 3 runs. That's positive. A positive sign. And that's what I want to see. I want to see Hancock be able to get outs here at the major league level. And that's what he's done so far this year. So again, a great sign. And I don't want to have the conversation yet about what happens when Bryce Miller comes up back from injury, because baseball eventually sorts itself out at the end of the day. But at some point, that conversation might come up. And at which point, do you want to send Hancock down if he's continuing to deal? I don't think you do. It'll be a really interesting conversation if/when we get to that point. 12 swing and misses in that game for Hancock. He led the entire game with that. With those 12. Munoz was up to 100 in this game, and Munoz was stressful in his 2 outings this weekend. It felt like I was watching Fernando Rodney again. He just all of a sudden would lose command. But he was able to bear down, able to get out of both of them. His first save Friday night, a crucial hold, and was able to be in line for the win on Saturday night when the Mariners walked it off. Which, by the way, a great 9th inning from them against Brian Abreu, who struggled to throw strikes consistently. They just work their counts. Cole Young, Brendan Donovan, Leo Rivas, all 3 guys work walks with an out, and then J.P. Crawford with the bases loaded. What else is he going to do? He's going to drive in that runner. He does so with a single, Mariners walking off. And that's a huge win. That was a huge win. Because when you're able to win games that you feel like, oh, we might be out of this game in, those are the wins that stack up, and those are the wins that get you over that hump of 90. Those are the wins that at the end of the season, you look back and like, yeah, that's why we won the division. That's why we have this seed in the playoffs. That's why we have a first-round bye. If you lose that game, that's why we don't have a first-round bye. Or you miss the playoffs. That's why we missed the playoffs. If you don't win the division, that's why we didn't win the division. Games like that. That's huge. It's a confidence builder. It shows that this Mariners lineup can back up this pitching staff. And being able to win these 3 games in 3 different ways, positive. Positive momentum. Positive growth. Now you got an opportunity with the Astros bullpen crushed, obliterated, into the sun. Like, they are on a different planet right now. How they haven't dealt with an injury to that bullpen yet is beyond me. And these innings will take a toll on that bullpen. And when we get to September, if this Astros team is in it, which it feels like every year they inevitably will be, a taxing on your bullpen this early in the season can be the difference between you making a final push, a final run, making the postseason, and you not. We have seen that the hard way. That the bullpen can be the difference between you being in October or you being on the beaches in October. So I want to see more length from this Mariners team in the same sense. I want to see them be able to rest their bullpen. And being able to get a win today, Sunday, without using your high leverage guys. Huge. Huge. And that's why Logan Gilbert going 7 innings in this game, huge. You've won the series, first one of the year. Took me 18 and a half minutes to mention that. Now you got an opportunity to sweep. Now you got an opportunity to, let's go make their starter work. Mike Burrows. Make him throw strikes. Continue to work your good at bats. And when you get something in the zone, let's hit it around. Let's go pop a couple. He will walk you. He's about league average in that. Not been the best strikeout guy so far this year. When you look at last year, again, league average in both strikeout and walk, players were able to barrel him up. Work your counts. Don't chase. Make it hard for him. Make him go into the strike zone. Julio Rodriguez had a great at-bat today where he didn't chase. He gets to 3-1 in the count. Bases are loaded. There's a fastball just off the outside edge that I'm like, that's a pitch that Julio always swings at. But that's an approach change to me. I'm not looking for something here on the outside half. I'm looking for something in my zone. And if it's not there, not for me. Not for me. Takes ball 4, takes his walk, passes the baton along. Mariners get a run out of it. Great at bat. And those are the at bats, even more so than the home run last night, where I'm like, okay, positive sign. Let's take another step. It's a step in the right direction. How do you build on that? If this team gets those guys to break out, great signs. Great signs. And they feel close to me. Even Cal and Julio both feel closer to me. Naylor's gotten a little bit unlucky in his BABIP. So he's been putting balls in play more and more as the season has gone on, just getting a little bit unlucky. His squared up rate right now is in the 82nd percentile. Like he's actually hitting the ball. It's just a matter of it finding gaps, finding holes. He just needs that one extra base hit. He'll pop one. He'll pop one at some point, and maybe it'll come tomorrow in the middle of the day. But once those 3 guys get going, now we're rocking. Now we're rolling. This team, as I've said multiple times on this show, can soar, can fly, will win a lot of freaking baseball games. It's been fun for 3 days, and it's just about, can we see this continue? Again, game 4 against the Astros tomorrow, middle of the day. Then the Mariners head down to Southern California, San Diego, to face the San Diego Padres for a trio of games before heading back home to host Texas this next weekend. We'll have episodes come out Wednesday morning as well as Friday morning. Friday morning will be a more normal episode where we recap the Padres series and preview the weekend series against Texas. Tuesday's episode going to be one with Jeff, so that'll be an average show with Jeff where we're just talking ball, figuring out what's all going on. We will talk about, I'm sure, Monday and Tuesday's ball games. We'll hear what Jeff has to say about the weekend. And hopefully this is some momentum that the Mariners can carry into their series with the Padres, where they're facing some better starters, a better team, and they're able to build on this and get some wins there. Because, look, ultimately, this Houston team looks really freaking bad. Really bad right now. And the Mariners still are missing some opportunities. They're still not coming up with that clutch hit from time to time. So I want to see them build. You're working your walks. You're working your get at bats. Now get that clutch hit. Have Donovan, Cal, Julio, Naylor go pop a double. Clear the bases. Score a pair. Drive in a runner from second base. Whatever it may be. Those are the things I want to see. And I want to see that against other teams as well. Because you've built up some positive momentum here so far. You just got to continue to grow on that. Mariners get Michael King in game 1 against the Padres, and he's facing Brian Wu. King has struggled a little bit this year, just in terms of teams have been able to hit him. But this is a good starting pitcher for the past 3 years. That said, he's a guy that, again, he will walk you. There will be times where you're able to hit him hard, It's just about getting off of that sweeper. Opponents hitting just 111 against that sweeper this year, whiffing 28% of the time. Opponents whiffed 31% of the time last year against it. The changeup was really good last year. It's been good again in terms of whiff rates. Hitters been able to hit it a little bit better, though. And again, it's just the same concept as we've been talking about all season. Force a guy to use his fastball, hit his fastball. Force him into the zone, hit the pitches in the zone. Do damage. Put a good swing on the ball, work your counts, get into the bullpen, and let's try not to face Mason Miller in this series because he might be good at baseball. He might be an all right reliever, I must say. Just looking at his Savant page, if you want to hear it. 100th percentile xERA, 100th percentile expected batting average, 100th percentile chase with strikeout percentage. He's striking out 79% of the hitters he has faced this year. Good luck. Good luck. Good freaking luck. One hit against him this year. In 24 plate appearances. 1 walk, 1 hit, 19 strikeouts. He's pretty good. He is pretty freaking good. So I'd like to avoid him. Now, that's a good back end of the bullpen in general for San Diego. Jason Adam back there. Mariners will see a lot of Adrian Morejon, I imagine, the lefty. Kyle Hart's been solid as a lefty in their pen. He's a guy I'm sure they'll see. Rodriguez, a 22-year-old righty, again, another guy this Mariners team is going to see a lot of. And it's if you get into that bullpen, it's not going to be easy, especially after facing this Houston team. These are going to be close games. You're going to need your pitching staff to keep you in it. But lineup-wise, this team has struggled. And you have the ability for your lineup to score runs against this team. You have the ability to pop a couple home runs. Sometimes that's how this team's going to have to win this year, and maybe that's how this series will have to be. But we got a game against Houston on our hands before that, as the Mariners look for the sweep over the Houston Astros. They have been very good this weekend. It's been a lot more fun to watch. George Kirby takes the bump against Houston tomorrow, as the Mariners look to take another step forward. And they look to get within 1 win of 500. As they're 7-9 right now. Mariners are back tomorrow. It's going to be a great day. Great game. Afternoon baseball for the Mariners before they head down to San Diego. As always, Hall Domingo Anderson, episode 141. Peace. Go Avs.